it's not Mike Riley, but it's Scott Black, you're an Ironman again. Mm-hmm. And I cross the line and I get the medal. And they say, do you need medical? And I say, no, I don't need medical. Because all I'm thinking in my head at that point is, I want to get to a porta potty. And I get into the porta potty and I close the door and it's dark. It's 100 degrees in there.
Oh, no.
It's 100% humidity.
Oh, gross.
One of the water bottles falls in.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh. I'm just reeling over the fact you were in like a porta potty for 20 minutes.
Oh, no.
You weren't?
I was in there for 40 minutes.
40 minutes? Oh, my God.
Because.
Oh, Scott, no.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 18 of the On the Runs podcast. We are coming at you one day after Memorial Day. Hope everyone had a great, long Memorial Day weekend. I just got back from the movies and saw Top Gun. Erica, what are you doing?
Hey, man, long time no talk. How you been?
Good. It's been 2 weeks since we last talked on the pod. We had Rachel. What a great episode that was.
Had so much fun recording. Oh, I love you, Rachel. You're wonderful.
It's already up there, just above 100 downloads. I think a lot of her friends tuned in.
Oh, yeah.
Well, tell me, how was your weekend? What did you do over the long weekend?
Well, had some parties lined up, but one of them got canceled due to rain, which I apparently got way more rain than you did. So.
It did not rain that much. We spent much of that day outside.
I didn't. I was inside, but I still got to see Shauna.
How is she?
She's good. She was over when you called me. You video called me, and she was like trying to make sure Ellie wasn't crying. You're being stealthy.
How's little Miss Ellie?
She's doing good. She's so cute. She's a very well-behaved baby.
Oh, well, the first ones always are. Just wait till you get the next. Or wait until they get past 3.
Three-nagers. That's what it is? You have a 3-nager?
Something like that. Oh, man. Mm-hmm. Well, mine's a 6-nager now.
6-nager.
If that's what we're calling it.
Doesn't have quite the same ring to it.
Yeah.
But
so,
yeah. Other than that, we got to see some family and enjoy the nice weather, and it was nice and relaxing for me. Brandon did a lot of work, but that's on him, not me. But how about you? What were you up to?
Well, we had a good weekend. Saturday, we got a lot done. We actually had Friday off of work too, and that was nice.
Very nice.
We went to my friend's lake on Sunday. It's funny. We had one thing to do on Sunday, and all of a sudden there were 4 things to do, and we had to pick and choose. And we just stuck to our original plan. We're like, you know what? The party got moved to Sunday. There was 1 or 2 other things, and it's just like, nope, we said we're going to the lake. We're sticking to the lake. That was what was on Sunday, and we went to the lake, and what a gorgeous day it was on Sunday. Worked on the tan a little bit, not really a thing I do, but I got a little burn. I got the first burn of the year. Now I'll really start to use that sunscreen. Got to get that one burn.
Be safe, man. Be safe.
And then on Monday,
it was a hot one on Monday.
I forget what we did.
That would have been a good lake day.
Would have been a great lake day. I forget what we did yesterday. That's my life. I have 3 kids.
I believe you saw a movie yesterday.
That's right. Well, I opened the pod by saying I just got back from the movie, but true. I went and saw Top Gun Maverick yesterday, and I am still disappointed in you. You have not seen the original.
Dude, it's not going to happen anytime soon. I am trying to catch up on This Is Us. I'm like 7 episodes behind, trying to avoid spoilers. I just found out that the new Fantastic Beasts movie just came out on HBO Max. So I watched the first 2 of them with Brandon yesterday. Really want to see that one. So I got some priorities before Top Gun happens.
It's not that long.
I have a feeling it's not going anywhere.
You know, I want you to do it soon because I want you to go to the movie theaters and see this in the theater because it was
that's
epic.
Not going to happen.
We went and saw it.
I haven't been to the movies since Endgame, man. It has been that long.
When was that?
That was 2019.
So I did the math.
Early 2019, maybe.
So I did the math. The last time I went to the movies before this was the night before Thanksgiving. You know what's the most popular night, like the bar night in America when everyone goes to the bars? Steve Spain and I went to the movies and we saw Ford versus Ferrari. That's how lame we were. But we were like, this was great. And we were like,
that was a great movie, by the way.
It was fantastic. But we're like, we'll do this every year. And then COVID happened. It's been 2.5 years. I missed the movie theaters. The previews were amazing. Like Avatar, I was like, I would go see that. Then they had the new Jurassic World. I'm like, oh my God, this
Oh, that
summer,
one's on my list.
like
I'll
this,
go back for Jurassic World.
I want to go like Jurassic Park comes out in like 10 days. I want to go.
June is a good month, man. I'm telling you.
And we saw it in the IMAX movie theater in Hooksett, and it was just like this ginormous screen. Surround sound was awesome. Just Top Gun was like the movie to see in a theater like that. And go to Netflix, watch the original, and then I will go with you to see Maverick. I will go see it again.
If I can see it before it leaves the theaters, sure. But no promises.
But you have to, it's a sequel. You don't really have to see the first one, but I think you need to connect all the dots because there are some dots. But the best thing is it's not like a sequel that came out 2 or 3 years later. This is 30 years later. And you get to see, Goose's kid. You get to, there's a love connection that Maverick has.
Spoilers, dude. Stop it.
Oh my God, I want to tell everyone who the girl is, but I won't. No more spoilers.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't think people came here to hear us talk about movies, but yeah, how could you have never seen Top Gun?
I don't know, man.
You know what?
80s.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's just bad parenting.
Ooh. You're going to be on my parents' shit list now. See, you're going to lose a listener.
I don't know about that, but I bet I'll hear about it.
Probably. Yeah, she's my mom. She's going to be all over our Facebook page.
Hey, I want to get to
him, Mom.
I want to get no. I want to get to our interview, but I got a story to tell you that's kind of it goes along with our interview because our interview is going to be Scott Black part 2. Okay,
and you got to give a quick recap for whoever the listeners to what Scott did in the first episode.
I absolutely will, but I want to tell you this. So we originally had another interview lined up for this week, and it's another triathlete, and he happens to be in Spain right now. And we were trying to figure out how can we interview you. There's a 6 to 7 hour time difference. And we thought we had a day locked down, and we thought it was going to happen. But then guess what happened to him? Because I haven't told you this yet.
No, go ahead. What?
He got food poisoning.
Oh, you're kidding me.
So I haven't heard back from him. I'm like, I thought we would hear back from him on Friday, and he never got back to me. And then I run into his friend. So the guy's name is Mark. I run into his friend at the pool. His name is Ado. And Ado goes, dude, did you hear about Mark? He got food poisoning.
That's rough. Oh,
I'm like,
I wish that upon no one.
I'm like, no wonder why he didn't message me. And let me tell you this, Ado didn't know who I was at first. I walk into the pool. We reserved a lane because Ashley and I were taking the boys. And you walk into the entrance of the gym and you're on the second floor, you're on the top floor, and you're looking down at the pool. And I see people in our lane, and I'm like, oh my God, Jesus, freaking whatever. I think I'm going to go down there and be a badass and be like, yo, get out of our lane. We reserve this. I never do that. I have the vision in my mind I'm going to do that. And then I go over and I go, oh, no, you're fine. We'll go in lane 1 or 2. But we love lane 6 because it has stairs. And the boys can sit on the stairs. It's not about walking in, because I could walk in down the stairs with the boys and then just walk to my lane. But it's because we can put them on the stairs. And it just makes life a little easier. So as we're walking in, instead of me being a badass, this guy in lane 5 is like, oh, hey, did you have this lane? My buddy's in it. I'll kick him out. And I'm immediately like, I know who you are. You're Ado. You're like this wicked badass triathlete, and you're Mark's buddy, and I'm trying to get Mark on the pod. And I was talking to him, and he's so cool. He was a really cool, down-to-earth guy, super nice. I told him about our podcast, and he loved like the whole idea of it. So maybe we'll get Ado on too someday, and Mark. So Mark, hopefully he feels better, and we'll have him on next episode or one after. He had a race on Saturday, and it did not happen.
You didn't race at all. Oh, no.
I do think he started the race, but he did not even really get into the bike. So, but hey.
Okay. That makes for a good story to tell us.
I was going to say, his code brown is an advantage for us. It's another story.
Even though I wish that upon no one, I mean, it does make for good content.
We wish it upon no one, but if it happens, please tell us.
Basically.
All right. So Scott Black, part 2. Okay.
Recap. Let's go.
Recap.
Do a recap.
In part 1, we got to know Scott. We went to his house, if you remember. And then he told us about his first ever Ironman race in Mont Tremblant. There, he crashed the bike with about 25 miles to go. And unknown to him, he broke 3 ribs and he still finished the race. Finished in 5th place. If the crash did not happen, he really thought he had a chance of qualifying for Kona. And we're calling this the Road to Kona series, Scott Black. So that happened. I don't want to give too much away. If you want to, if you haven't heard it yet, you can go back and listen. It's episode 16. Anything that you want to recall from part 1?
All I know is that it was super informative for me because I was going into it really not knowing much about triathlons at all. So hearing about his experience, I got like a whole new vision of it. It was very, very interesting. So glad to hear what he had to say, and I'm excited to hear what he has to say next.
All right, so we got part 2. I think this is the best episode of the parts. You're nodding your...
This was the best story. You guys are going to want to stay tuned.
So let's get to it, and we'll see you on the other side. Everybody enjoy The Road to Kona, Scott Black, part 2. All right, everybody, welcome back. We're still here at Scott's place. Scott, that interview we had about your first Ironman and Mont Tremblant experience was epic. I'm sitting across from Erica and just watching her facial reactions as you're telling the story. And they're
It's
just
unreal.
like, the jaw kept dropping, the eyes were big, like, oh my God, how did this happen? Or how does that? Did you break ribs? Oh my God, spoiler alert, she spoiled it. You broke your ribs.
You mentioned it first. I didn't totally spoil it, but
So
and I caught the bug.
caught the bug.
I caught the bug, and then, finishing where I did, all of a sudden I realized, hey, I'm at the tip of the spear on this thing, and finally I found something in my life that I'm actually half decent at.
gotta roll with it.
And you just promised your girlfriend you would never do it again.
Right. So
He said it with his fingers crossed behind his back,
no,
He meant it you meant it at the time.
What the people want to know is, we know you signed up like 2 months later, but when did you tell her?
I think I only told her like in February or March.
So she had time to be mad at you. Were you already training at that point? Like what is your training cycle? You said your other one was like 20 weeks, but were you training at this point?
So I think I took maybe 2 months easier, but the training never really stops.
I agree.
And so I probably I think it was beginning of February. I decided, I started to kick it in, and
So she would have noticed soon enough.
up the volume.
Well, no, she maybe wouldn't, because she lived in Canada. He could do all his training down here. We're in New Hampshire, right? He goes up to visit her. How often do you think he would go to Canada?
I would go up every other weekend, and she was very aware of what I was doing, because Saturday morning she would go to work and I would go to their local Y and swim or bike there. And then on Sundays I would get up early and do my long run. So she was aware, and I told her, look, I was so close last year. If I hadn't crashed, I'd be in Kona, and all I wanted to do was go to Kona and Kona. That's all I could talk about. So, from just being a challenge, it become a quasi obsession.
And let me tell you something about her. I love her. She's fantastic. The only flaw is there's a language barrier, pretty massive one. She doesn't speak English, but she's fantastic. And she's also worried all the time. Worried about you and your well-being, where sometimes I will get texts and they won't be like perfect English, but it would be like Google Translate. One day, Scott left his phone at his house, and he comes into work, and I don't think I saw it yet, but I'm getting a text message from Canada from her, and she's like, oh my God, is Scott at work? Where is Scott? Have you seen him? And I walk over to his desk and I go, hey, you forgot your phone today? Yeah, I forgot my phone. I'll go get it during lunch. I go, your girlfriend thinks you're dead.
Oh, no.
Because, Scott, as we learned, is in the 55 to 60 year old age bracket. Your girlfriend is significantly, I can't say that, spit it out, Eric. She's much younger than you, right? So she's a little bit in fear of your health and what's going on. And when he wrecked, one thing you did tell us in that race was, don't tell her.
Right.
Well, it just caused her to worry, right?
Exactly.
That was Cozumel.
No, it was both.
Okay.
But you told us and your daughters, don't tell her yet. And we knew not to tell her. And she says, why is he not moving? Why is he like very slow? He looks like he's in a lot of pain. She was very worried. And she's always that way. So that's what I wanted to say. She's very worried.
Yeah,
So
she's a worrier.
She did not want you to get hurt again.
Right.
You were so close.
Right. And she didn't want me to spend all the time on that too, because it's quite time consuming. Mm-hmm. But like I said, it became an obsession. So I spent more time researching, trying to improve, and looking at past races, past starters, trying to figure out who's going to be there.
Okay. So you wanted to scope out the competition.
You scope out the competition thinking that it's going to make a difference, but it doesn't make a difference because you don't know all the names and you don't know who's going to be there.
Okay.
He was creeping them on Strava.
I creep a lot of people on Strava. That's not weird.
It's a bit tense.
It's
well,
not weird.
He
I'm
didn't
telling
follow
people.
them because he didn't want them to know he was following them. He would just look them up and see what
So
they're
you just
doing.
hope that they have a public profile that you
Right.
could just be like, "Whoop, gonna check it out."
Right. So, again, put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
It takes up all spring and all summer, and you're always tired and you're grumpy.
And I loved it because I was going out running and biking with him. Loved it.
Yeah. And,
Is that when you got the bug?
That's when I got the bug because that year when you're training for your second Ironman, I was training for Ironman Maine, which was my first half. Now that race, your second one, was when I got the bug to do a full. I said, I am just going to somehow do this race. It has to be that race.
Mm-hmm.
But, enough about me. Back to you.
Yeah. So again, end of August on the start line, Eric helping me get dressed in the morning.
Just like before, do you remember your bib number?
Yeah, you guys are like, hey, Scott, your bib number. Do you recognize anything about this? I'm like, no, what? She says, it's the same bib number last year's winner had.
Oh,
It was meant to be. We thought it was so meant to be.
that's some good karma right there.
Yeah. We thought it was good karma, but turns out it wasn't good karma.
Oh no.
No.
So before we get into this, what did you do anything differently, like training wise? Did you find a new plan? Did you get a coach?
No coach. I think I pulled a different plan off the internet for that, just to maybe add a little bit of volume. I went with the same nutrition. Didn't make any other changes. Went with the same race suit. So, but I did buy a helmet.
Oh, I hated that. So he had, in his first race, he had a green helmet, and it was a Scott brand. So not only was it green, it said his name on it.
Oh, that's awesome.
And you would be looking for him in the distance, and there was only one guy with a green helmet. There's the green helmet. That's him, and we'd see him coming, and we'd get ready, and you'd yell up the hill, Camille, he's coming. But this time, his helmet was white, just like everybody else. And there was one point on one of your laps when you were doing good, and I'm looking down the hill for you, and then all of a sudden I hear, "Hey, buddy, what's up?" I'm like, "Oh, Scott! Holy cow!"
Just completely went by.
Yeah. And I started, and I had to sprint. I was sprinting up the hill to catch up to you.
So why'd you buy a new helmet?
One of the biggest aerodynamic hindrances is your big head.
That's true.
And having a narrow helmet can save you a pretty significant amount of
Is that
loss.
the picture I saw upstairs?
Yeah, and
so it's the white helmet, and that's what I noticed. I'm like, oh, that's very aerodynamic.
And I wouldn't say it really saves you speed or add speed. It really saves you energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what it all comes down to.
That's a good reason. That's a good reason.
Less effort to go at the same speed. That's the name of the game.
So he went from looking like your amateur triathlete the year before till every race he's doing, he's looking more and more and more like a pro.
It's like me and my new shoes, man. They're like
Yeah.
magical, and I feel like a clown, but they make me run fast. So whatever it takes.
Yeah.
No
yeah.
judgment
Look
here.
good, feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
How'd the race go?
this was the fog delayed race.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So, the race is supposed to start at 7:30, and the lake is covered with fog. You can't see squat.
Oh, wow.
So they delayed it by like an hour. We'd already gotten in the water for our warm up swim.
Oh, and then you're just sitting
And then you're
around.
just standing out there and you're shivering.
We actually thought they're going to cancel the swim, which
They were close to canceling.
Yeah.
They said like another 5 minutes they would have canceled the
and
swim.
some people
Wow.
that plays a major factor in. Like for you, we thought, okay, out of the 3 disciplines, swimming is not your best, and you're flying on the bike every time. So we thought this might be good for Scott.
But what do they do in that case? Do they you can't qualify for Kona if they cancel
Oh
the...
no, you can still qualify.
How do they
you
do
still
that?
qualify, but it happens more often than they'd like, that they have to cancel the swim or shorten the swim.
Oh, wow.
And it's unfortunate for people who are doing their first
Right.
Ironman,
Not getting the whole
because they don't get
experience.
the whole experience, so they're quite disappointed. So the fog cleared up enough that they let the pros go, and then just after the pros went off, more fog rolled in.
Oh,
But they still let us go. But you couldn't see from one buoy to the next. There's a buoy every 100 meters, like every 200 yards, and you just couldn't see the next buoy. So
you just hope you're going in the direction you're supposed to.
Some people were sharing after there's like a Facebook group for this Ironman, their Strava maps of the swim.
yeah, it was crazy.
It just zigzags all over the place. Gotta correct.
At one point, they were going the wrong way, backwards.
Yeah,
Whoa.
yeah. I got T-boned by a guy. It was it was just crazy. So I think I was like maybe 2 minutes slower than the previous year.
That's not bad considering what you were up against.
Yeah. The bike went, I didn't crash. So the bike went well.
You were flying. But I feel like, from my memory, you were picking guys off just like last time, but you were a little further behind, and you had to pick off more guys and catch up. And then there was other guys who were, because you never know who you're competing against. It's not always the same people. There's some guys who are just way ahead of you.
Yeah. It's like everything. You might be in the top 2, or you might be a 1%er, but then there are always the 1%ers of the 1%ers.
Oh, no.
Right. So, I think it was in a solid second or third position, but there was this one guy who was just way ahead of everybody.
Tony O'Keefe.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Did you look him up or you just remember him?
No, we got to discover who Tony was after the race. He walked up on the stage to get his first place prize, and he walks up and he shakes Mike Riley's hand, and Mike goes, "Hey Tony, how you doing?" So only to find out that
They're buds.
this
Oh, boy.
this guy
He's been around.
He's a regular.
is a living legend in endurance sports.
Wow.
He finished 4th in the Ultraman Ironman, which is double in Hawaii. The oldest guy ever to finish, and he finished 4th. He did Race Across America bike race like 2 or 3 times. The guy's
Wow.
legend in the endurance sport.
I'm a little blown away that an Ultraman actually exists. That just, I can't even fathom that.
Everybody wants the next challenge. It's like
Yeah.
you run a marathon, and then people want to do a 50 miler, and then you do the 100 milers. And it just never ends. You're just looking for the next challenge.
You know how that Facebook group, Ultra Runners Bad Advice page, you send me, and they talk
Funniest shit ever.
they talk trash about the marathoners.
Yeah.
Well, the double Ultra men talk shit about.
Oh, I'm sure. Everybody talks shit about everybody else, but
Oh yeah, it's
very
like
self-deprecating, that group.
it's like don't you want to do what is it, the Mont Tremblant Mont Blanc race?
Oh, the UTMB, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe someday. If I could have Courtney Dauwalter on my side, then I'll do it.
We can make that happen.
I'll just draft off of her.
We'll try
Just
something.
kidding. There's
I
no
don't
way
think
can
you could
keep up.
draft off her.
No,
Well, I
there's
think
no way I can
she'll be
keep up with her.
gone.
Oh yeah, that's.
Well, I think we know somebody who knows her, so maybe she could hook
Somebody
you,
who
hook you
knows.
guys up.
Yeah, we'll try.
You talking Doozer again?
Oh, yes.
Oh wait, I'm like who else? Oh, like who
I
else?
was wondering what you were talking about.
Got some connections I don't know about here. Here we go.
Well, and Doozer's dating Amelia Boone.
Mm-hmm.
No, I was talking about your coworker, Mikala.
Oh, is she okay? So we can talk about this. I'll edit it out. But Michaela, she was in the office last week, and I don't know if she knows Courtney, but that doesn't matter.
That's cool.
She did tell me. She goes, "Oh, come on, I got a story for you."
All right.
Yeah, so I'm going to not share the story. She did share with me bits and pieces of it, but I'm going to hold on. And she'll come on. She lives in West Virginia, runs ultra. She does run in races that Courtney Dualter runs in. So
Yeah.
That would just be cool to be around her.
Badass.
yeah, she is badass. She was in. She invited me to dinner last week with their team, but I had to take Adeline to dance. Anyways,
Priorities.
I would rather interview her than go out to dinner with them. I'd do both. I'm just saying if I had to choose. All right, where were we?
So we're on the bike. So Tony. So
I gotta look him up.
I'm in second, third. Tony is like way ahead, and I had a solid bike ride, a little bit faster than the year before.
No penalties, no crashing.
No
I'd say
penalties.
that's a big win.
No crashes. It was nice. Head out on the run, and I had decided to implement a run walk strategy this year. That year, so the theory is walk before you need to.
Mm-hmm.
So you run the hills and then you walk the stations, and that worked great for the first 13 miles. But after that, it starts to get hard.
Mm-hmm.
I remember you running next to me on Red Bull Hill again, and I just got into a really, really dark place there. And that first hill, I just walked the hill. I just kind of lost the will to live on that first hill. But you just push on. You just never know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Can I interject for a second? I just really need to get a grip on what you do for nutrition for a race like this. Do you eat like a full meal at some point? Like I know you eat in the morning, but like what kind of calorie content are we talking about? And like,
so I'm trying to take in about 300. Well, I'm trying to take in about 300 calories an hour.
Okay.
I don't know if it's enough. I don't know if it's too much. You walk a fine line that you don't want to take in too many calories, because then you get GI problems, because you can only digest so much, and
yes,
you can only stomach can only process so many carbs an hour.
So are you doing like gels, or is it actual food?
So I was doing a combination of gels and a mix.
Okay.
And I was using the same nutrition that I used the first time. One of the things is when I'm not a pro, and you don't do that many races, so it's not something you can like experiment with, and you don't go into a race saying, okay, this race I'm going to try something different and see how it goes, like ride easier on the bike and see if it's easier to run, or take in more calories or less calories, or do Gatorade, not Gatorade. So I simply went with what I had used the previous year, because I experienced no code browns.
that is good. That's a plus.
Which is key, because when you're out running, you constantly see people running into the porta potties or waiting outside of the porta potties,
and that's just costing you time. So
yeah, they don't stop the clock for that. So mile 13, I'm already feeling down, and
dark place.
And again, you go through the negotiating with yourself thing. Like I'm gonna walk the hills and run through the food stations or not. And, you know, you get to the end that way. You know, you guys had been feeding me position information. And I think when they told me that I would, you know, drop from third to fourth to fifth, you know, I was like, what's the point? You know, because I had really believed in myself and really set out to qualify for Kona. That's what it is. I believed I could. You know, I was at the you know, tip of the spear the year before. You know, I looked at the times. The guy who went to Kona that year did an 11 hours and 25 minutes.
So yeah, you were so close.
So you know, I was really close, and you know, I came in 10 hours and 57 minutes, 10 hours 56 minutes, something like that. But it wasn't enough because that year,
tougher competition.
Other people showed up. You know, Tony ran 9 hours and 58 minutes.
Oh wow!
So, you know,
okay.
Whenever he shows up, everybody else is racing for second.
Okay, Tony. Thanks.
Why did you choose Canada, Tony? You could have gone anywhere else.
Well,
Probably does.
well, he was from Mont Tremblant, so.
Oh, well, there you go. Hometown then.
You know, but you know, you look at the start list and you see he's on there, and you can't say I'm not going to do the race because he went to Kona that year, and he was competing, and he was in second or third position in the race with 2 miles to go, and then the race tracker stopped. His race tracker stopped. Didn't update anymore.
We're talking Kona.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kona.
Yep.
And I, you know, so I stalked him online for 2 months to find out what happened. And he finally posted that, you know, with 2 miles or 1 mile to go, his body just shut down, and he could not go any further. And he hasn't done an Ironman since. So,
No way.
Yeah.
I didn't know this either. News to me.
Wow.
Has he posted anything since?
I haven't seen much. I know he moved to Italy.
Oh wow. That's really interesting. If that was his last thing, if like it was really a serious medical problem,
You know,
or
it happens. You know, the guy who finished first in the 60 to 64 age group in 2017 went to Kona, and he posted that he didn't finish the race, that he had a serious medical issue, or maybe he finished, but he pushed himself way too far, wound up in the hospital, he was selling all his stuff. He couldn't do Ironman anymore. It wasn't safe for him to do it anymore.
that's heartbreaking.
So,
Well,
fortunately, he wasn't the same size as me. I couldn't get anything at a good discount.
well, speaking of hospitals, I want to get to your hospital visit soon. So let's talk about the end of Mont Tremblant and what you decided to do after that.
So, with experience, crossed the line, did a better finish line
Absolutely.
pose, right? Waved at Mike.
We all had a much
Did he wave back?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, waved at Mike. I felt much better. Ate something right away, which helps also. And then headed for the massage, which is available. And that made a world of difference because I was able to walk back up to the condo.
That's great.
And the next day, I was jumping around.
Well, not only the next day,
Jumping around.
just a couple hours later, you and I went to the finish line.
That's right.
And then the year before, I ran with like 25 minutes before midnight. And he's like, you can go. You can go. You need to experience it. And so I went by myself. It was amazing.
That's right.
But this time, you and I went.
Yeah, 10 o'clock, we headed back down to the finish line to watch all the late finishers. And it's unbelievable what these people do. You think you have a hard time, doing it in 10, 11 hours. And you see these people have no reason being there, overweight, out of shape, just pushing themselves to extremes.
I think that's the most motivating thing too.
I know, 15, 16, 17 hours.
That's putting your body through so much hell for so many hours, and it's just to prove to themselves that they can.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, Ironman's motto is anything is possible. And, you know,
I love it.
When you see these people crossing the line, I mean, the atmosphere is just, it's unbelievable.
There was one guy, and Mike Riley will come down and he'll talk to the whole crowd and he'll say, 4 minutes out, we have, Joe. And Joe has tried to finish an Ironman 5 times and he's never finished. And he's 4 minutes out and he's like, let's make sure he can hear us. And then there he comes.
Like,
and
giving me goosebumps.
the tear,
I love it.
like this guy's face in the tears, and he's shaking, and you can see every little ripple, and he's gonna break down, and Mike's there right at the finish line. It's like, let's go, Joe, let's go. I'm making up his name.
Me want to cry.
And he gets to that finish line and pumps his fist, looks up at the crowd, and you can just tell he is crying because he is trying for so long, and he's finally finished. And you look at Joe, and Joe's like, Joe, you have no business being out here compared to everybody else, but dude, you're the man.
The pure elation I can imagine that these people feel.
There's one thing, with the year I did it with 2 friends, and one friend really he goes, this will be my first and last ever triathlon. Never did a sprint or anything else.
Yep.
He finished in the last hour, and he got the reception everyone had. And the only thing I was bummed out about was he didn't realize what was really going on.
No, he was wasted.
But he didn't appreciate, I feel, that crowd at the end. And everyone, his name was Chris, everyone is chanting your name. And Mike Riley's like, Chris, you are an Ironman. And he goes, oh, hey, dude. No, thank you.
Really?
No clue.
Oh.
But this guy, we're making up his name, Joe. Yeah. Joe knew. And everyone out there was just like, let's go, Joe.
If that was his 5th attempt, or you didn't make that stuff up, did you? Like a 5-time attempter.
I did not make that up. That was true. And Mike will tell you, because
this was one of the biggest things in Joe's life.
At the very end, at the last hour, you might have 6 people come by, one every 10 minutes, and he'll tell you, the next person is 4 minutes out, and he'll tell you something about them, because when you sign up for an Ironman, you're filling out this little bio about yourself.
Really?
Yeah. And so you can be Joe can say what he does for work, or where he's from, or that his family's there, or he's doing this for his wife who just battled cancer and whatever, cancer research. And he'll tell you something. And this guy, it was like his 4th or 5th attempt, and he's never finished.
Good for Joe.
Joe, if you're out there and whatever your real name is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You're an Ironman.
You're an
That's
Ironman,
awesome.
man.
I love that. So the Ironman community is a little bit different than the marathoning community, because we'll come out and do that, but I feel like you do not get the reception that you would get in that, finishing an Ironman.
No, you just watched the Boston Marathon a couple weeks ago, and all of a sudden the news channel goes back to the finish line, and there's that one person finishing, and there's 4 people at the line clapping for her. Great job. No, does not happen in Ironman. I mean, we're talking hundreds of people. It is a rock show. And I remember watching, it will always be on Facebook Live or something. And one Ironman, I remember they all had those thunder sticks.
Oh,
and when the people would
making so much noise,
bang those thunder sticks, you could hear them from a mile away. You're close. And then the last finisher, or at least the one they estimate is going to be the last one.
Yes.
Angels bring you to the finish line.
Angels.
Yeah, they get some kids. Put angel wings on them.
Oh my God! Stop.
Yeah. They escort the last person in. It's nice. It's nice.
They run right to the finish line. They don't cross it, but they all get down on a knee and bow their head, and the person goes over the finish line, and the fireworks shoot out at the top of the finish line. And
wow, what a reception!
Yeah, if you ever finish last in Ironman, it's pretty cool.
That's epic.
Yeah, and the best finish line. It's for anybody who's watched it, is the 11th hour, the 17th hour in Kona. It's that's special too.
All right.
So let's get into, you finished 5th.
Yeah, I finished 5th
again,
but another podium. So okay.
Yeah.
Another podium.
So I'm on the podium again.
Uninjured.
I'm feeling good. I was able to, walk after, after the race. The next day I actually felt really good, and let a couple of weeks go by, and
No Kona slot though. Again,
no Kona. So at that point, like I said, I have the bugs. I'm chasing Kona, so I'm feeling good. At the finish line, I had spoken to one of the pro who won. He's like, when you're in shape, go do another one. He says you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Mm-hmm. The cake is already built. All you want to do is you just need to put a little bit of icing on top of the cake. So he's like, so that was like 12 weeks later.
Yeah.
I fly Eric out to Mexico, and we go together, and we go race Ironman Cozumel the week before Thanksgiving.
And let me tell you this, I had this Sherpa bug. I was like, this is awesome. I went to Mont Tremblant both times with him, and then he's like, I actually told you I couldn't go. And then I think 2 hours later, I changed my mind and I said, I'm going. I got to go.
Again, Ashley is a saint.
Yep. And he flew me out. Mm-hmm. You went down, though, like a week early. Like, you went down real early.
I went down. Yeah, I went down a week early because it's hot.
So you kind of got to get used to it.
So,
then, huh?
I had done a 2 weeks of sauna prep to try and get a little bit used to it.
Right.
But I was like, I got to go down earlier and try and get used to the climate. That didn't work out so good.
I fly down a couple days before. He's already been there at least 5 days. He picks me up. It's funny. I took a bus, then a plane, then a bus, and then a boat to get there.
Oh, wow.
Cozumel is an island, right? Not too far off of, you got to go to Cancun, and then you got to take like an hour bus ride south to Playa del Carmen, and then you get on a ferry that's like a 45-minute ferry.
I honestly don't know where it is. Is it like west or is it more east?
I would say it's southwest of Cancun.
Okay. Well, no, like west coast of anything.
It's in the Caribbean.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not in the Pacific. It's in the Caribbean.
Thank you. I'm like, I have no idea where it is.
Yeah. So I get there. I'm having a blast because, because life in Cozumel was fun. You get around on a scooter. We went to the pool, which was like this local community pool that had the lanes, and we were swimming in the lanes. He would go out on his practice bike rides. I would rent a scooter for the whole week and just scoot around on the scooter, following on the bike.
I've seen your scooter video. Well,
yep, taking videos. Well, yeah, I had a big mishap on a scooter too, but I had so much fun in Cozumel leading up. I would go out at night to some of the coolest bars just because they were like outdoors, and
oh, nice.
All you had is a little roof over, and
so you were having the time of your life, and he's trying to prep. And
well, I would be with him when he was prepping, but I actually went out to watch the Bruins games. They played like 3 times I was there, and
they actually showed.
I found a place where they had the TVs, and I'm like, "Can you get the game?" And they did. I had so much fun, and I met so many people in the community. They were so interested in what was going on. The people who lived there, and they would just be asking so many questions like, we love this week, what goes into it? I can't believe they really do this. And like, it's our favorite day because they make a lot of money with tips, but then they're just like, it's such a party.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it's so much fun. So I was having a blast. Your brother joined us and his family. He flew them down.
Yeah. They flew out from the West Coast to come and see Uncle Scott race and punch his ticket for
And not
Kona.
only that, I had a blast with your nephew and your niece. And they were, how old do you think at the time? How old are they now?
Well, let's see. This was they were probably 7 and 8 at the time.
I had so much fun, and I think your brother and his wife loved me too. Like I was playing with Spencer the whole time. We were going swimming, and I wouldn't call it scuba diving, more like snorkeling. And we would go to their hotel resort, which was much nicer than ours.
Yeah, Eric was the built-in babysitter. It was awesome.
A little bit. And
gotta earn your ticket, man.
I will say, your brother and his wife treated me extremely well. They treated me extremely well when I was down there, and I was very grateful. And I absolutely adored their 2 kids.
Yeah. We had a good time, but for me, it was just a business trip.
It was. He was business the whole time. So let's get into that. Let's get into the race the day before transition. Everything is different. It is not the same as Mont Tremblant. It is not the greatest spectator place.
No, the swim start and the bike run transition is at a different place from the swim transition. So you got to go and take a bus and go drop the bike off at one place, and then you got to take another bus and go drop off your run gear at another place. In your transition bag, you put some food for your bike, and since you didn't have or for your run, and since you don't have access to that the next day, just sits there, and it's outdoors, and it sits in the sun, and it just bakes. So it was a little bit more challenging, a little bit more stressful getting started than Mont Tremblant, but Uncle Eric was there, and
the logistics were extremely difficult compared to our past experiences. He would have to go down on a bus by himself. No one else was allowed. Oh. So at some points that would really kind of be helpful, and just he's thinking in his mind and going through his checklist, I need this, I would typically have it. In this case,
so you couldn't really Sherpa for him.
Well, not pre-race, and not
way.
Not the best way. And I would have to get there by walking, running, or a scooter. And no scooter on race day, by the way. But the day before, these buses are taking everybody who is an athlete to the transition. So no, I'm not allowed in there to help him out in this situation. You were on your own. So let's go race morning.
Okay. So the Cozumel swim has a reputation of being the most beautiful swim, because it's in a national park or ocean park. So you'll get to see, it's very clear, and it also has a reputation of being a fast swim because supposedly the current is going the right way.
So this is like ocean. You were used to the lakes, and this is
yeah. So this was ocean swim, and it was already windy in the morning, and I fully expected to have a real fast swim, but I got the impression that I was swimming against the current.
Oh no.
I would see things in the water, and I'm like, wait, didn't I already see that? So instead of having a fast downhill swim, I actually had a slower swim than in the lake at Mont Tremblant.
No way.
And you weren't the only one who thought this.
No, I wasn't. So maybe,
was it just the day, or
no?
wind?
Some people swam faster. I don't know if it was where I decided to swim in the ocean, maybe a little bit further out from other people. But my swim was slower than I expected. So I get out of the water, rinse off because it's salt water. So, and then got to work on the bike, right? And Cozumel is three loops, and it's flat.
Oh, all right then. You
Flat,
got that going for you.
Very, very flat.
Well, she thinks that's an advantage. Maybe.
So,
I mean, it is and it's not, because at least for a run, you're not working any different muscles, so you don't get any relief.
right. So the problem on the bike is that you're in the aero position.
The whole time, basically.
The whole time. And maybe it's flat, but it's on an island in the middle of the ocean, and it's windy.
Ooh.
So whichever way you're racing, at one point, you're going to be going against the wind. And as the day goes on, it's getting hotter.
There's one other thing about a flat course. You never get to stop pedaling.
Oh,
So
yeah,
when
you can't ride the downhills.
Right. When you're on a hilly course and when you're doing those massive hills, well, you get the reward on the way down.
That's true.
And you get that recovery.
Yeah, even if it's 1 minute of easier pedaling,
It's a nice break.
it's a nice break. There, it's unrelenting. You're pedaling the whole time.
Okay.
And the first lap wasn't so bad because the wind hadn't picked up and hadn't gotten hot, but the second lap got harder, and then the third lap was just, it's already getting harder because you're mile tired. 80, mile 90, but the wind picked up and it was hot. And I had never experienced a hot race. All the previous 2 races were all, 70, 80 degree weather days. And my hydration was, pretty much based on that. Here, I really didn't adjust accordingly.
So what were we talking for temperature? Like hundreds?
It was high 80s, low 90s, and it was 85% humidity.
And the sun was brutal.
It was just brutal. Eric tried to get from one viewing point to another, and I think he had to run 3 miles. That's the neighbor's dog.
I ran a lot. I had to run a lot, but the run wasn't as much fun as Mont Tremblant, where I would only run a little bit from one point to another point to another. I would have to run sometimes more than a mile at a time to get to the next spot to see you. I do remember you came out of the water somewhere in the 20th. I want to say 27th, but you were flying on the bike again, picking people off one by one, and I want to say you got into the top 3.
Yeah, second or third coming off the bike.
Is that age group or?
Age group.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be like, who are you all around?
No.
So we're right back.
Age group.
Okay.
So we're right back to where we were the last 2 races, where he's right on the edge of qualifying, getting top 2. We're right there again. Here we are, going into the run.
Yeah. So on the third lap of the bike, I was getting to be really hot, feel hot, and I was already grossly dehydrated. So I pull into the transition tent, get off the bike, so you don't have the 20-mile-an-hour wind, cooling you down a little bit. And it just hit me like a ton of bricks that, oh my God, it's so hot.
Oh.
Now, I don't know if you remember, but I'm watching the tracker and I see the guy in second, right? And his transition time going to make it up was 3 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
So I yelled to you, he was 3 minutes. You need to be 2 to catch up. Just like that's an easy minute to catch on the guy. You were not that far behind him tracker wise. Like he might be 10 miles into the run already, but I'm going based off of where he was at the same time when Scott's there, because they don't start at the same time. They go off of what they think their swim will be.
Yeah. And so I get into the transition tent, and that's even hotter than outside, because you're on a protected plastic thing, and I'm just baking in there. So I didn't get out in 3 minutes.
Whatever time I told him he needed to be, like, hey, the other guy was 3 minutes. He was 2 minutes slower. So I'm trying to get him to be a minute faster. He ended up being 2 minutes slower, and I'm like, oh no.
Oh yeah, it was So I get out of the. Can remember getting out of the transition tent and starting to run, and I ran probably a quarter of a mile, and then I just started to walk because I was so dehydrated.
Oh, man.
I needed to get water into me. I was just so hot. So
They had sponges for everybody, right? And these sponges are in ice water. Well, because it was so hot and humid, everyone took multiple sponges. And I want to say, there was none left. You might have gotten 1 or 2, but there was not a lot to go around.
No.
Right? So we're talking, he's one of the elites. He's there in the first half of the field, maybe the first third.
And
you've
if
got
there
2
were-
other thirds of people who aren't going to get these sponges or these other things to cool down.
Right.
yeah, so it was 3 loops, right? Not 4.
The bike was 3.
The run was 4 loops.
The run was 4.
Was this
Yeah.
a different part of the course?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So you're running through the town. A lot of people. Then you just went out to one end of the island where all the fancy hotels are, and you loop back, do the same thing. It's mostly flat except for a small incline, but that incline starts to feel.
As a spectator, what was fantastic about the run course was you could go to one of the restaurants that would have outdoor seating, and you could be sitting right outside drinking and eating and watching people run by you 10 feet away and, hey, there's Scott, go Scott. You know, like,
That's like a big F you to, hey, you're doing all this work and I'm sitting here drinking a beer.
I was having a great time with your brother and his family. And like I said, they treated me extremely well. And they treated me to everything.
So Eric,
I had a blast.
Yeah. So Eric and Angela, running next to me at points saying, you're doing great. You're third, or, so, but I'm shuffling.
So did you want to know that information or was it, so, okay.
He gave me a whiteboard.
Because I was going to say, I'm like, is it just going to stress you out at some point?
He gave me a whiteboard and I'd write things down because maybe he couldn't like process it, but he could see it.
Yeah.
I've thought about that a lot. And at the time, I certainly did want that information to be fed to me. And it's one of the big reasons I had for wanting to have a Sherpa there. It's because they can feed me the time. But now with a little bit more experience, I don't know if that actually makes any difference because it really doesn't make me go any faster. I think at some points it actually has the opposite effect. So the first lap, they're telling me you're third, and then after the second lap, they're like you're fourth, and and that's. And that's demoralizing.
Stop. Just stop telling me that. Yeah.
I'm already picturing fifth again. So, they tell me you're at the end of the second lap. They tell me, or the third lap, they tell me you're 10 seconds behind third, 10 seconds behind third.
Oh.
So, I'm like, okay, great.
That's a gap I can work with, though.
No,
maybe.
but I can't go any faster. But I do see this guy ahead of me with a 56 or a 57 on his leg. And in my mind, that's the guy who's ahead of me. So I, try and follow him. I do the run walk thing again at the food stations, and he just cruises past the food station. So he cruises by me. I see him. I walk the food station. I catch up to him. I pass him, and then it repeats at the next food station. He goes by me, and we hit the last turnaround. And at that point, I think I had to take a leak. So I just do what I had to do at that point. And he goes by me. I catch up to him again. That's when my stomach started to show serious signs of distress.
Oh no!
What mile are we on?
Well, that was like mile 22 probably. 4 miles to go.
Oh no!
Yeah.
So after all that work, and now you're starting to get into the the Code Brown situation.
Yeah, because I was way dehydrated. I didn't know it, but I was way beyond what's safe actually. So that the stomach at that point is starting to feel messy. So I think at mile 22 is when I had my first. How do you describe it?
Code Brown.
Oh, so that's what we'll call it?
That's what we call it. Yeah, Code Brown.
Okay, so
Hashtag Code Brown.
So that's when I had my first hashtag Code Brown, but it was a reasonable Code Brown. So
let me just say this too. He just bought a brand new white and light blue triathlon suit.
Oh no! So everybody knew about your Code Brown.
No. It's white on the top, dark blue on the bottom.
Oh, so the dark blue. Okay.
Yeah, dark blue on
but
the bottom.
But it was brand new.
Yeah. So I caught up to him again, and I passed him. And then at mile 23, that's when I had the full-on Code Brown.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Number 2.
Yes. But luckily the tri suit is very tight around the legs and has the absorbent padding for
the chamois,
for
right?
cycling.
Okay.
So it does help a little bit.
You had to run in that?
Well, it's
Yeah, you don't have to. But when you're like me,
Yeah. No, I get it.
where every second counts,
Yeah.
you don't stop and change and get into running shorts and a more comfortable thing. You're trying to you're just trying to get to the finish line as fast as possible.
Yeah.
So the guy passes me again. We get to a food station and he just keeps on going. He's not stopping at the food stations anymore. So I'm running behind him. I can see him there. And then at like mile 24 and a half, probably, he starts to accelerate.
Oh, come on, dude.
And I do my best to keep up with him. So I'm keeping up to him, and we're shoulder to shoulder going through the center of town. And with less than a mile to go, I just stop and I let him go because I can't go anymore. So I stop. I'm walking. At that point, we're probably like 200 yards before the final left turn to the finish chute, and I let him go.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that he only has 10 seconds ahead of me. So I let him go, and then I start running again to keep him within that 10-second time frame. And I turn down, and then take the left. There's another 100 yards to shoot, and I know that my niece and my nephew and my brother and his wife are there, and that all they want is Uncle Scott, high five. And I just didn't have the energy to do it. I didn't even have the energy to acknowledge that they were there. And I pushed to the finish line. And in the previous episode, Eric mentioned the ramp. Well, there I get to the base of the ramp, and it's a ramp to cross the finish line. And I stop at the bottom of the ramp. I don't think that I can run up the ramp. So I get to the bottom of the ramp. I walk up the ramp, cross the line, and I almost fall over. I lose my balance. I take a giant step to the left. I cross the line. It's not Mike Riley, but it's Scott Black, you're an Ironman again. And I cross the line, and I get the medal. And they say, "Do you need medical?" And I say, no, I don't need medical. Because all I'm thinking in my head at that point is, I want to get to a porta potty.
Yeah.
Okay. So they give me my medal. I grab 2 bottles of water, and I head to the porta potty. I get into the porta potty, and I close the door, and it's dark. It's 100 degrees in there.
Oh, no.
It's 100% humidity.
Oh, gross.
I'm exhausted. I try. So I set the water bottle, one on the sides, and I'm wrestling trying to get my tri-suit off, but I'm exhausted. And it's one of these things that zips up, and it's tight, and it only zips halfway down. And even when you're not tired, you have trouble getting it off. And it took me 20 minutes at least just to get the thing off. And finally I get it off, and I'm wiggling this thing, just sweating. Oh, God. And one of the water bottles falls in.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh.
I'm
just reeling over the fact you were in like a porta potty for 20 minutes.
Oh, no.
You weren't?
I was in there for 40 minutes.
40 minutes? Oh, my God.
Because,
Scott, no.
Yeah. Because then I got to clean off the suit.
Oh, no.
It's just covered. So 40 minutes goes by. I'm baking in this thing. No, not baking. I'm dying in this thing. Okay. Trying to clean off the suit. Haven't had anything to eat. Haven't had anything to drink. Okay. Because I use the water bottle to try to rinse myself off.
Yep. Oh,
So-
no.
So finally, I think I've done a reasonable job. I get myself out of the porta potty. I go get my finisher's t-shirt. I go get a lousy slice of pizza because that's their after race meal there. A
come
lousy
on.
slice of pizza.
Take notes after Mont
You know.
Tremblant.
Now, the 40 minutes has gone by. I haven't had the massage. My legs are like stone.
Oh, my God.
And there were ice baths. And I want to go and take an ice bath because the ice bath would be good for my legs.
Mm-hmm.
So I go to the ice bath, and I know I'm covered with shit, okay?
Cut to the chase.
And I get into the ice bath, and the ice bath is turning yellow around me.
Oh, God.
Or brown. It was just disgusting. The guy's saying stuff in Spanish. I know what they're saying. I didn't understand, but I knew what the hell they were saying.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there trying to rinse myself a little bit better, trying to, help my sore legs. That's when Eric and my brother finally found me. Now at least an hour has gone by.
Oh, my gosh.
And guess who's
At that
blowing
point,
up?
I'd be worried.
Guess who's blowing up my phone? The worry work girlfriend.
Yes.
So they get me the phone, and I always say, I'm okay.
I yelled to a guy who was volunteering. I'm like, here's take the phone and give it to him. And,
Right.
and
You weren't allowed in there?
No, not allowed in there, just like Mont Tremblant. And I already have, it had to be one of your daughters on the phone, but you're in the ice bath and we don't know what just happened.
Yeah.
And this guy walks it over and you can just tell Scott's having a great time talking to someone on the phone, or at least what I think, talking to somebody, gets the phone. Oh my God, how are you doing?
Yeah.
Talks to your daughters, talks to your girlfriend. Right. I finally get the phone back. We think you're doing great.
Right.
And your brother left. He went back to the hotel.
Right. They went back to the hotel. So I'm in the ice bath. I don't know, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that. Finally managed to get myself up because my legs are just wrecked. And they say, do you want a picture with your medal? I'm like, yeah. So you go this way. So they shuffle me to wait, go get my picture taken. And that's when I started to shiver.
Oh, that's a bad sign.
Yeah. And so there was a girl there who says, oh my God, you're shivering. We need to get you some electrolytes. So they hand me a bottle of Gatorade and I drink that. And then I go wait in line for the massage because I know the massage is going to do me good. And I'm sitting there waiting for the massage. And I just had one bottle of Gatorade. I'm shivering. Finally, they get me onto the massage table and I'm just shivering uncontrollably on the massage table. And I'm covered with shit still. So they put an aluminum space blanket over me, and they're massaging me through the space blanket.
4 of them.
Yeah,
4 people.
4.
Wow.
I mean, and they're going like both arms, forearms, rubbing him, trying to rub him, like to get him warm.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, I'm only 10 feet from you now. I'm kind of able to be around.
yeah, and nothing's working. So they call medical.
Yeah.
Medical comes over, and they say, we're going to get you over to medical, and we're going to give you an IV. So they wheeled me over to.
Well, they didn't wheel you over.
I walked over to.
No. They strapped you down on a stretcher.
I already to get to there. I was already on the stretcher.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. So take me over, bring me over to the medical tent, and
I am not allowed inside the medical tent, FYI.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm still shivering uncontrollably. They get the IV on me. They ask me, you okay? You okay? They're like, so they give me one IV, and and then they say, you have to pee. You have to pee. And I'm like, okay. I said, I don't know if I can. That's when my bowels just released like
Oh no.
like never before, and they had to cut my suit off.
Brand new suit.
My brand new suit.
Oh no.
Yeah. That's when they cut my suit off. So they gave me another IV, and that was probably another 45 minutes, another hour.
So about 45 minutes pass, and I'm hanging out around some fence, and I'm in between the finish line and the med tent, and there's not that much room, maybe 20 feet in between the two. And they come by and they go, "Who's looking for Scott Black?" I'm like, "That would be me." And they come over at one point, and they actually told me, "You were doing really well." They told me you had a code brown, and you're on your second IV bag, and they said you were doing really well, and it might be another 15 minutes. So we're talking an hour tops. Another 45 minutes to an hour passes, and they come back, and they told me you got worse.
Yeah. So I got worse, and they say they're going to take me to the hospital.
And I think you had a second code brown in there.
Yeah. And they said they need to give me something stronger.
Oh my God.
So the ambulance comes. He jumps in with me in the ambulance.
And we go to a Mexican ER.
So, you have this image of a Mexican ER being like some third world country ER, but it was totally the opposite.
Let me paint a picture. It looked like any normal hospital in a city in America surrounded by a third world country.
Okay.
Just like everything around it was definitely third world. But the inside of the hospital, besides being small, very clean, very white, very
Sterile.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah. Their experience level might not be on a par with ours, but...
Well, the attendant was from Canada. She was from Canada.
Well, they had maybe some volunteer attendants too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, they get me on my third IV. So in total, I had, 4 or 5 IVs?
You had at least 5.
Yeah.
Oh my God. This is so intense.
Oh, yeah. So, and, by that point, it's probably like 10 o'clock. You'd call my brother. Brad comes over. So Brad's a surgeon, so he's tingling with the IV, making sure it's flowing.
They were so busy in this ER. It was packed. I mean, we were.
Was it packed with Ironman?
Yeah, we were in better hands with Brad than with the doctors there. I watched, there were no curtains. I watched them struggle to tube somebody.
They were trying to intubate this guy, and they couldn't intubate him.
And he was passed out. He was unconscious. Yeah. And I'm just like, I'm the same distance for people who don't know. Me to you right now is about 8 feet. There's basically just an 8-foot hallway in between us, and I'm watching this thing. And I don't know if you're watching it because you're out of it. But your brother's watching it, and he's like, I feel like I should go over there and do it for them.
Jesus.
He's like, I can do so much
That's terrible.
better.
Somebody needed a breathing tube.
Right.
It was that bad.
And then there was the room
God.
next to me. I thought that a guy might be dying. He did not die, but I thought he might be dying.
Wow.
And I'm like, you guys go take care of everyone else, because Scott, all he's doing is he has to pee every 5 minutes, and we can handle that.
Yeah, right.
You guys go save lives.
Yeah. So they give me IV. So by then it's 10, 11 o'clock. When did I get discharged? It was 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. We were there. I think we got back to the hotel at 2. We missed the finish, the crowd at midnight and all that. That was definitely, we were not going to see that.
But the funny thing though is that once they discharged me at 1 o'clock in the morning, I was jumping around.
Oh, you were back to normal. Good as new.
Doing jumping jacks. Felt great. Got a couple of videos of it. Feels amazing.
That is such a gnarly experience.
But so dehydrated. It was just crazy. So
you were taking in you said the food stations. You were taking in drinks, but just not the electrolytes you needed.
Not enough.
Or you must have been the deficit. You just couldn't get out of that hole.
Not enough on either.
My gosh.
I probably had to double or triple my normal intake, and no, I didn't nowhere near enough.
Oh yeah.
So
you needed those IVs.
It's the experience thing. You don't have the experience, but I gained experience on that for one of my next ones.
That is so. I feel like something that extreme, if it had happened to me, I would have to think. I'd be like, all right, do I really want to do this again? I would probably do it, yes. So that's just taking a moment to think about your decisions.
Right. So the next day is the award ceremony. Okay.
And you finished?
I finished 4th.
Okay.
Okay.
Which your family, your brother, Angela, and I were joking before because
Yeah.
it looked like you were going to get 5th. We're like, we're just going to call him Mr. 5. And we're going to get him like a birthday cake with a 5 on it. And everything's going to be 5. We'll get you a jersey. We're all going to wear, because they made T-shirts for you, like Team Black. We're all going to put number 5 on the back because that would have been 3 in a row. And then you got 4th. And we're like, so...
You ruined our plan.
Yeah, you ruined our plan. Okay, so we got back to the hotel around 2 o'clock and we went to bed. The next day, how'd you feel?
I felt great. I wanted to go for a run. And yeah,
That's great.
We had fun. We were walking around. The village wasn't as Mont Tremblant-esque. You know, it basically went away, and we're just now again in Cozumel in the city. But we'd talked to some people. We made some friends who did the race, and some other Americans. I decided to go for a scooter ride because I had all day into the awards ceremony, and this is when I got stranded because I was on the other side of the island. The scooter broke down, so I missed both awards ceremonies in Mont Tremblant, and I was like, "Well, I'll make this one because I'm already here. Our flight's the next day." We did that because we knew the awards ceremony was at night.
Okay.
So we had all day. I finally had a full day to really go explore. And I got stranded on the other side of the island. You can check that out on Instagram. But I did not make your awards ceremony.
I think you did.
Oh, I made maybe the last 20 minutes.
Okay. So, I finish 4th. I go up on stage. Again, I'm just short.
Mm-hmm.
The guy who won was a gentleman by the name of Thomas Traeger. Just 2 weeks, just a couple of weeks earlier, he had finished 2nd in the age group in Kona.
Mm-hmm.
So another guy who, if he's racing, you're racing for 2nd. He's one of the gentlemen. He's one of the bike racer who was killed in Las Vegas 2 years ago when
what?
someone plowed into
Oh my God.
some racers. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So for anybody who's listening, please don't text and drive, because bad things happen when you do things like that. And
That's awful.
maybe it's called an accident, but it's not an accident if you're texting.
Mm-hmm.
What was his name again?
Thomas Traeger.
That's
So
awful. That's so sad to hear.
right. So he took the spot, and the guy who was 2nd took the spot, and so 3rd and 4th were left hanging.
Mm-hmm.
We go back to the hotel that night to pack, or maybe in the early morning to pack, and we run into in the hallway.
That's right.
In the hallway, as I'm packing, a guy walks by with his wife, and he's wearing the Ironman band, and I'm said, "Oh, so how was your race yesterday?" He said, "Oh, wasn't too bad. I finished 5th in my age group." I'm like, "Oh, what age group?" He goes, 55, 59. I'm like, "I finished 4th. I thought I was chasing you all day." So the guy who finished 10 seconds behind me, okay.
So he was chasing you.
Yes, but you don't, on the course,
You have no idea.
since you start at different times, you don't know.
Mm.
But so he finished just 10 seconds behind me.
Wow.
Yeah. Coincidentally, back in 2014, when I did my very first half Ironman, he's the guy who won the age group.
Wow.
He was a Massachusetts guy, right?
He was a Massachusetts guy.
Yeah.
Small world.
We took the bus back with him.
Yeah, he paid for part of our bus trip.
I know, because we couldn't find our money or
No,
something.
we had no cash.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Okay, so we're going to take a bus, like a coach bus, right? And you could pay with a card or something. Well, right outside the bus station are all these guys, "Take the van, I'll give you a van ride, and it's $300. It's like, no, $200. No. Right? You wanted to take the bus because you wanted to ride with him, the guy who finished in 5th, and talk Ironman the whole time because you both got the bug. And me and his wife were just there like, You're right. He had to pay because we didn't have any cash.
Well, we didn't have enough cash. He had to forward like $10 or something like
I
that.
feel like it was more.
Or maybe
than
it's
that.
$20.
I feel like he paid like $200.
No,
and we paid like
no.
$50.
Oh, maybe. That makes the story better. I'm sorry. I should have let you. $1,000. Yeah. So there you go. Cozumel. I was short again. So after Cozumel, I actually promised my girlfriend again that I wouldn't do a race in the summer.
That's smart.
So that we'd have our summer. So I began looking for a race that would be at the very beginning of the summer or at the end of spring, so that I could train during the winter and maybe have the hope, if I didn't qualify for Kona, of maybe doing one just at the end of the summer, because now I know I can do 2 within 8 weeks or 10 weeks.
And we are going to talk about that on the next episode. I want to say one thing, though. Your girlfriend, when you were in the hospital, you remember telling me, do not tell her about this. And you already got to talk to her in the ice bath. But I think it was Angela who spilled the beans.
Yeah, probably.
And she was a mess. Calling Angela, all of a sudden calling me, why aren't you telling me where Scott is? I haven't talked to him. Why haven't I talked to him? Because you two do talk a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And I am like ignoring the phone calls, not texting. Oh, Scott's, yeah, he's getting a massage. He's fine, because he's like, do not tell her. Well, awesome. That was great. I am so excited. I've been telling Erica, just wait to hear about Cozumel. Just wait. We've been waiting a while. She finally heard. That was great.
Intense.
Thanks for sharing that. All right, and welcome back to On the Runs. That was part 2. Erica, I love how part 1 ended with he promises his girlfriend he'll never do an Ironman again. And part 2 pretty much ends with the same thing, but I will never do one in the summer again.
He got smart and he's being more specific this time. But, oh man, I love the stories that Scott has to tell. He's just so interesting. This is great.
That whole week in Cozumel was just like so much fun. I had a blast. I got so lucky that he took me out there with him. And then he got lucky that I was there too, because I went to the hospital and all that. Let me tell you.
You definitely had more fun than he did, for sure.
I had a blast. It was a business trip for him. It was just such a great weekend. And then his family, who did decide to come, they flew out from the West Coast for it. They were so good to me. They treated me so well. I would buy a round or 2, but then they would treat me to a whole meal, dinner at the nicest place. Their hotel was beautiful and it had their own private beach. And this guy would walk around and he would see your drink was empty. He'd bring you another one. And I was like, this is the life. And I'm like, I'm going to owe them so much money. And I was going to give them the money. And they're just like, no, it's fine. And so I remember this was all before the Ironman. During the Ironman, I'm hanging out with them at one of the bars along the run course, and you're just right there and everyone's running by you. And it was such a cool experience. And I made sure.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah. I made sure to buy 1 or 2 of the rounds there and get it out before they could be like, no, we got it. Cause I really appreciated them and their kids were super fun. So if all works out and I go to Kona, they will be there too. And I can't wait to see them again because they're super cool.
Awesome. Yeah. I think you got to buy them a couple more rounds.
Well, we'll see if they get me a t-shirt this time, because last time they all had their own t-shirts that said Team Black and they weren't sure.
Oh, yeah. Just casually send them your size.
Yeah. Maybe they didn't know I was going or they didn't think of it, but last second they bought me a hat and it said support crew with Team Black on the back. And I loved it. The hat was great. I still wear the hat today. It's in the camper. Speaking of camper, cool. I'm going camping this weekend again. Second camping trip of the year for the Canoetin squad.
Not bad, dude.
Yeah, putting that thing to use. Making sure I get every dollar's worth of that camper.
Every dollar that you didn't pay for. Well, taxes, but hey.
Luckiest victory I ever had. Anyways, what do you got going on?
Man, June is going to be an awesome month. I'm very excited for June. Just a little biased. My favorite month. It's my birthday month. So lots of celebrating to do. But let's start off. Tomorrow, June 1st, is Global Running Day. So I'm going to put in some good miles. Yeah.
I didn't know this.
Everybody knows. Well, now you do. Surprise. But
Happy Global Running Day, everybody.
It's going to be a fun day. There's lots of Strava challenges. You should join some. But it's also Pride Month. So happy Pride to all who celebrate. To top it all off too, tomorrow, June 1st, marks my 2 years my 2-year anniversary of my run walk streak. So it's at least 1 mile of every day, inside or outside. I'm not picky, but I'm pretty proud. I built the habit, doing some exercise every day.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So I'll have to do a post or something. Actually, have a funny reel that I want to try to make. If
Oh,
I
do you
can
hear that?
actually.
Do people
What, the
hear
clap?
that? I wonder if they can
Hear
hear
what?
that.
Hear what?
I have the windows open. I'm in my room again, and I don't have as much laundry as other times, but sirens are going off somewhere in the distance.
Well, I can't hear them, so maybe
Oh.
maybe we'll be lucky when you edit. But yeah, June is a good month. I've got a 5K coming up. It's my fastest 5K, the Hollis Fast 5K. So I'm going to try to break my PR. And then coming up at the end of the month is the Goffstown Gallop that we've been talking about.
I can't
which you
wait.
have to sign up for.
I
You
will.
have to do it.
My wife
But-
tells me today, did you pay for summer camp yet? No, I will. I'll get to it.
I'll just keep reminding you. I'll be like the broken record.
Well, you said I can sign up day out, but I would like to sign up before.
Yes.
That would be fun.
That means you'll do it. So don't go camping that weekend.
It will be my first Goffstown Gallop.
And it'll be my 14th Goffstown Gallop. God, G's and F's and S's are hard to say, but I'm looking forward to it. My favorite race.
Oh, I got to mention two people who we both love so much on Peloton, big life events for them.
Oh my God. I have to say at least one because she's my absolute favorite. Miss Bex Gentry is having a baby and I have no chill and I'm so excited for her. She said it like, I was going to get up early for that class too. And I slept through it and I was so mad at myself, but she announced it during one of her classes and I am just super happy for her and her baby daddy.
Tell me
But
about
who's the other one?
Matt. He got engaged.
Oh yeah. Mr. Wilpers. Congratulations yourself.
I didn't even know he
Lots
had
of
a
big
girlfriend.
things. Apparently, we don't follow his social media close enough.
No.
We got a ton of pictures with it.
I follow. I'm on it, but everyone else you're seeing pictures of, most of them are the female instructors. They're all getting engaged, and you're seeing it all. And it's just like last summer was like engagement
Big things are happening
fever.
for our Peloton friends.
They're all getting engaged, and there was no. I saw nothing. Like, I'm not going to go stalking Matt's Instagram right now, but I don't recall ever seeing it. And then all of a sudden one day, like, holy cow, he's on a knee on a beach and he's getting engaged. Like, I was so excited. And the pictures, the thing is, the pictures of him and his girl, they like travel around the world, and it looked like they have so much fun. And so
That's a life, man. That is the life.
He has such a cool life. I love that he goes skiing out west and he does some big hikes and goes on some cool adventures. And he is a beast on the bike. He's the man. So yeah, Matt's engaged. Bex is pregnant. I'm super excited for Bex and excited to watch the journey.
Three other trainers who are pregnant right now too. You got Anna Greenberg, you got Chelsea Jackson, and then Jess King. Jess King's pregnant too.
I knew that.
So,
I knew about Jess. Yep, that's right. Jess.
I just found out from the live class I took today with Bex that her and Jess King have the same due date. So they're going through like this pregnancy together, the two of them at the exact same time. I think that's pretty
wild.
Cool. Yeah.
Well, kids are the best. I'm really excited for them. It's going to be so much fun.
That is exciting time for them.
Now, what do you think? You think she'll do? Remember, was it Robin who did like a series, like for anyone who's pregnant? She had her own series, whether it was stretching classes or strength classes or meditation.
Oh, she did all kinds of pre and postnatal classes. So, I mean, this is a good opportunity for Peloton to expand their library of pre and postnatal classes. I think they should. Absolutely. Many congratulations to our Peloton trainers.
Yes, very
all
much.
Around.
I'm very excited for them.
Christine just got married too. She had an epic wedding.
That was the
You should
wedding.
check out her
I saw that. No, I saw.
Oh my God.
Did you see the outfit that Olivia had?
She was wearing the tiniest dress I've ever seen with the largest platform heels I have ever seen.
The platform heels are huge, but the dress also had like a big cape or something on it too. Like,
Oh, did it?
Well, like only
I
for
just noticed
outside.
how short it was. So I was like, damn, I could never pull that
No,
off.
I'm going to send
good
this
for
to
you.
you. I'm sending it to you right now. Check this out,
Okay.
okay? So I just sent it to you. It's
Am I checking it out literally right now?
yeah, it's like the outdoor photo, okay?
There we go.
Yes, her outfit is very short, but it's like the jacket that goes over,
Oh, dang.
and it has like a
That
huge.
is a look.
What do you call it? Just a tail? The
I
jacket.
mean, it looks like it's attached to her gloves. I can't quite tell. But she looks absolutely gorgeous. Gonna give that Instagram a like. Yeah.
The shoes. It's not the first time she's wore shoes like that. I mean, let's
Well,
just be
she's very
real.
short, isn't she?
They're
She's
fantastic.
a very short person.
I'm not even going to say what I was going to say about the shoes. They're just fantastic shoes. But I've only
I
seen.
feel like I know where you were going with that because I know how you feel about her.
I've only seen those type of shoes in a certain kind of establishment that I haven't been to in a long time. But I always thought the shoes were like outrageous.
I mean, I can neither confirm nor deny that.
Anyways, I think she's great too. So I'm excited for all of them. And in a couple of weeks, I think 14 days is our next Power Zone pack. So
Looking forward to that. I need to get back on the bike.
did you ever do your FTP test?
No,
Me neither.
I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this challenge because it's only 6 weeks, and then I will test at the end.
No, I
haven't been on the bike much.
I think we should test before.
Nope.
No, let's do oh, come on. Let's do a pre and post test.
I'll see.
Yes, let's
Well,
do it.
we'll
We
see.
need to reset our zones.
I don't think I do.
Yes, you do.
I haven't been on the bike since the last challenge.
You'll
Think
do it.
about it.
You'll do it. It's that or Top Gun.
Oh, come on.
Make a choice.
Fine, Top Gun.
All
Top Gun.
right.
That's
So,
the easy way out.
By our next episode, you will have seen Top Gun, the original,
At least the original, yes.
and
Fine.
everyone will
Fine.
hear about it here. So we'll talk about it next
What,
time,
do I
okay?
have to do a review? I don't think so.
You're gonna let the people know what you thought.
Yeah, I'll give a 60-second review, and then that's all you get.
60's
Just to prove
great.
I watched it.
But you got to give me another 30 seconds to ask you a question and a response.
Fine.
Yes.
That means I have to pay attention. I can't play on my
Absolutely. I'm
phone.
not going to let you get away easy.
Fine.
I don't want you spoiled.
Fine. That is the easy way out than an FTP test.
All right, everyone. Well, hope you enjoyed the episode. I think we'll be back in 2 weeks as we keep seeming to go over our time limit that we purchased for each month with our plan. But that's good. We're using it all. We're using all our minutes we have. It's like cell phones. Remember when you had minutes?
That's a blast from the past, too.
And as I'm
Oh,
looking
man.
at the clock, I think we really have to end this one because we're
Yeah.
about to go over. And last time you got charged, you let me hear about it.
Well, it was like $12 extra. I'm like, where did that come from? I don't know. It was weird. It was a weird month, but
Hey,
I'll let it slide.
we're learning. It was a successful month. Let's put it that way.
Definitely was.
So hopefully next time we'll be here. We'll get our interview. Hopefully there's no more food poisoning. And if not, we'll find something else to talk about.
Fingers crossed for no more food poisoning for all you athletes out there.
And like we said, if you got a code brown, we want to hear about it.
Give them the spiel. Where can they find us?
All right. If you want to follow us on Instagram, you know how, at On The Runs. You can email us. Our email address is at ontherunspod@gmail.com. And Erica?
Don't forget to stretch.
You did meet some friends, though. Or you made friends. You made one friend.
I don't remember.
He remembers so much stuff that
It's
he'll be like-
Jocelyn, but I will...
he always
hold
gets
on.
me on that too. I'm
Let me
like, I
start
don't
over.
remember.
You made a friend.
Let me start. You introduced me to her.
All right.
I'll skip that part.